design boss Alfonso Albaisa confirmed the electric model would not be a derivative of an existing model and would instead be an all-new vehicle, following in the footsteps of brands such as Volkswagen and Mercedes, who are choosing to create electric-only models. Albaisa was talking at the Quail, part of Monterey Car Week, where Infiniti was showing its prototype 9 heritage-inspired race car, which uses an electric motor. Albaisa said that we would see parts of the car in a different context on the electric concept at Detroit. Albaisa also confirmed the electric car would be on a new platform, rather than sharing a platform with the Nissan Leaf, its parent company's electric offering. Earlier this year, Infiniti boss Roland Kruger told Autocar an electric model was coming and that he had already driven an early prototype, describing it as very good. Kruger added that it was important that an electric vehicle maintained Infiniti's values of performance and handling, a forte of its hybrid offerings, he said. "We want it to have a unique Infiniti driving experience." Kruger also referred to parent company Nissan's expertise in electric vehicles. "There are lots of engineering competencies we can tap into and utilize." Infiniti's last foray into full electrification was a concept revealed in 2012. Called LE, pictured above, it used a 134 horsepower electric motor with 240 pounds-ft of torque and a 24 kWh lithium-ion battery. Nissan's gas-powered Titan pickup is a much nicer truck than its brawnier sibling, the XD. This milder Titan competes well with other light-duty 1500 trucks thanks to its energetic V8 engine, acceptable ride and handling, low-effort tailgate, and respectable fuel economy. Power comes from one of the punkiest V8s in the segment, which easily sends the Titan from rest to 60 mph in 6.7 seconds. The exhaust note is a pleasing rumble, though some may find it over the top. The 7-speed automatic transmission shifts promptly and decisively. Overall fuel economy is 16 mpg, which is excellent for a pickup truck with this much power. The Titan is well equipped for towing, with an integrated trailer brake controller, trailer sway control, and a trailer light check system that makes it easier for the driver to hook up a trailer without a spotter. Maximum towing capacity is 9,390 pounds, with maximum payload capacity of 1,610 pounds. The ride is fairly comfortable, and handling is secure and not overly clumsy, making the Titan a good road trip choice. Inside, the roomy crew cab has luxury features such as dual-zone automatic climate control, and heated and cooled front seats are available, along with a choice of fabric or leather seating surfaces. You can even get heated rear seats. Overall, the controls are intuitive. Both 5 and 7-inch infotainment screens are offered. And like most competitors, you can get a navigation system, blind spot warning, rear cross traffic warning, and a rear view camera. The Pro4X adds aggressive, and noisier, all-terrain tires, a stiffer suspension, and skid plates. The crew cab's standard 5.5-foot-long bed offers a flexible rail system to secure cargo. Other features included a damp tailgate, a spray-on bedliner, and an in-bed 120-volt power outlet. When I bought my used Nissan Leaf, I did so knowing that I rarely drive more than 30 to 40 miles in a day. For the occasional longer trips for meetings, and such, I figured I'd just swap cars with my wife or rent if I had to. But something changed. During the 2 or so years since I've had it, public charging stations have proliferated in the Triangle area, meaning I can now often take longer trips knowing I can most likely charge at my destination, and that there are plenty of CHAdeMO fast charging options to top up with on the way home if I do get caught in a pinch. This fact was brought home when I visited my friends at TS Designs to check out their new public charging station the other week. Having picked up my friend in the suburbs, driven to Burlington, North Carolina, stopped off ironically enough at a 5-star gas station for lunch, and headed home via my friend's house in the sticks, I ended up covering 105 miles in a day with just the charge during our meeting and a quick 15-minute calm the nerve stop off at a CHAdeMO charger on the way home. I even got back with 45 miles on the gasometer too. Of course, stories like this will do little to blunt the concerns of those who say 200+ miles of range must be a minimum. But they're not meant to. I fully understand that for many mainstream consumers, or regular long-distance drivers, an 86-mile range just will not cut it. I'm simply pointing out that not only do electric cars get greener as they age, one UK study suggests they're 50% greener now than in 2012. They also get more practical. In fact, things have changed so much, I've even started mulling the idea of a road trip to Asheville, 220 miles, just to see how long it takes me. But I'm weird like that. Of course, I still welcome the arrival of truly long-range electric cars, but the ever-growing availability of local charging infrastructure suggests short and medium-range electric cars will still be a lot more practical than they were just a few years ago. As corporations like IKEA make good on their commitments to speed up electric adoption with more charging options at their places of business, we should see range anxiety slip even further into the past. Utility is about the least interesting reason for buying a new car. There's no exhilaration in signing up for 60 months of financing on an appliance that will never inspire passion. There's no joy in looking forward to taking something for granted. So, here's the second-generation 2018 Nissan Leaf, the all-electric future of ordinary. Don't get excited. No, really. Don't get excited. While much has evolved from the first to second-generation Leaf, it's what hasn't changed that's most important. The Leaf, in form and function, is still an economy car, a 5-door hatchback in a world where the almost meaningless differences between a 5-door hatchback and a 5-door crossover somehow matters. People buy crossovers, and ignore the hatchbacks on dealer lots to get to them. Nissan could have jacked the new Leaf up on its suspension, bolted on some off-roady looking all-season tires, added some cladding and called this thing an electric crossover. Or even do what Chevy did with the Bolt EV and call it a crossover even though it clearly is not. At least some buyers would have been tempted by a Leaf Finder or Rogue who otherwise wouldn't consider a plain old Leaf. So count that as a strategic marketing opportunity missed. That in mind, and based on about 20 minutes of driving around Las Vegas on a steamy Wednesday afternoon with 3 people, including a Nissan product nanny, in the car, there's plenty to be impressed with about the new Leaf. Our own John Belt Snyder had greater exposure to the Leaf in Japan, albeit restricted to Nissan's Tochigi proving grounds, but this is Autoblog's first taste of the US spec Leaf. The new Leaf is bigger than the first-generation car, roomier and vastly more sophisticated in its appearance and appointments. The general silhouette of the Leaf is still econobox, but there's nothing cheap in the details. On the sampled pre-production car, the paint was perfect, every plastic bit was perfectly finished and every switch operated with a sort of precision that would be impressive in a Gulfstream G650. Let's hope all that quality will also be aboard the production cars. Like the first Leaf, the second one is mostly engineered as a small, conventional front-drive car. That means the electric motor is in front driving the front wheels, unlike, say, the BMW i3 that tucks the motor in behind the driver to drive the rear wheels. Because of this layout, the Leaf still drives an awful lot like other front drivers, the front wheels are asked to do a lot, and the rears aren't doing much. Considering the limited exposure to the Leaf on the billiard table smooth I-515 between Las Vegas and its suburb Henderson, there's not much that can be said about the Leaf's handling. But it feels okay. For now. tweaks to the power delivery system have swollen the 2018 Leaf synchronous AC motor from the 2017 version's 107 horsepower and 187 pound-feet of torque up to 147 horsepower and a thick 236 pound-feet of torque. Since electric motors produce consistent torque no matter how quickly they're turning, the new Leaf feels much quicker than the outgoing model and delivers seamless thrust. Nissan claims a curb weight of 3,405 pounds for the SL, and that is 175 pounds less than what General Motors claims for the Chevy Bolt EV. The Bolt's motor, however, is rated at 200 horsepower and 266 pound-feet of torque. The 2017 Bolt hits 60 miles per hour in around 6.5 seconds. The 2017 Leaf does the same trick in a languid 10+ seconds. Let's guesstimate the 2018 Leaf 0 to 60 time at just under 9.0 seconds. Short of the high-end Tesla hot rods, the Bolt is likely to remain the choice of the world's electro boy racers. Nissan claims 150 miles of range for the new Leaf under reasonable conditions. That's better than the 107-mile stretch of the 2017 Leaf and tops the 124 miles Hyundai claims for the Ioniq Electric, but well behind the Bolt's claimed 238-mile low. But Nissan promises that the 40 kWh lithium-ion battery pack at launch early next year will be supplemented with a 60 kWh array that, do the math, will stretch range to 225 miles. Supposedly the suspension is tuned tighter for North America than in Japan. Okay, fine. But there's no way to evaluate that until the new Leaf is experienced on more challenging roads. That in mind, the 17-inch wheels the Leaf SL were wrapped in modest 215/50ths or 17 low rolling resistance rubber. Any expectations of extreme cornering prowess are sure to prove misplaced. So instead of driving engagement, the new Leaf is overstuffed with new technology. Even the base $29,990 S model is equipped with an e-pedal system that modulates regenerative and mechanical braking to allow virtually one-pedal operation as the car stops itself when the driver's foot is off the accelerator pedal, just like the Bolt EV. That Mattel has offered similar operation in various battery-powered Barbie Jeeps and Corvettes for years wasn't noted in the press materials. Moving up to the mainstream $32,490 SV model adds a navigation system to the 7-inch center display screen, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto compatibility, radar-based intelligent cruise control and a phone quick charge port. Atop that, a $2,200 technology package includes Nissan's new ProPilot semi-autonomous tech. A top-of-the-line SL runs $36,200 and includes all the goodies, including blind spot warning, lots of cameras, and ProPilot, which seemed to work okay for the mile or so we were able to turn it on. What's frustrating here is that while the agony of this rollout persists, there's still reason to be suspicious that the electric car market is, in fact, a viable one. Worldwide, electric cars represented a puny 0.2% of the total car market despite such incentives as the $7,500 the United States government kicks back to those bold, brave or batty enough to buy one. It's hard to believe that this new Leaf will inspire a new wave of enthusiasm for electric cars. There's plenty of talk about mandating electric cars in France, China and California, and there's probably been a half-dozen hyped-up announcements since you started reading this sentence. But sooner or later, buyers have to find electric cars so attractive that they'll dump their internally combusted dreams solely based on the zapper's merits. Only Tesla has drilled into the market consciousness to pull that trick off so far. And that's with vehicles that, as good as they drive, are as much virtuous status symbols for the wealthy as real cars. Nope, we're not there yet. American buyers are bound to show up at Nissan dealers. Look at the $30,000 plus price tag on a loaded Leaf SL, even after the $7,500 bribe, and then walk over and buy a $31,710 top-of-the-line Rogue that has more room, drives great, will go about 400 miles between fill-ups and refuels in a few minutes at any of America's 168,000 or so gas stations. Whatever government mandates lie in the future, the new vehicle market is still millions of people making individual purchasing decisions. Decisions that usually include taking on a load of debt for a machine they're actually excited to own for 5, 6 or 7 years. Most electric cars simply aren't able to attract those buyers. At least not yet. And it seems doubtful that the new Leaf will change that.